We'll begin our day. Aggie football. It's their world. We're all living in it. Last night, Aggie Football Hour, Mike Elko, the season premiere, the season debut. You can listen every Wednesday night at 8 on News Talk 1620, 94.5, WTAW. Kind of the three things that stood out to me. He said more than three things, to be clear. I mean, he had an hour. One, spoke about the linebacker room. I'm fascinated by them myself. Quote, it's a good group. It's obviously great to have Damian Safford back out there. I think Ray Coney had a phenomenal summer. Then you got Noah McHale and Jordan Lockhart. I think ready to go out there. Now, I'll tell you why I'm fascinated. It has been a while since Aggie football has had like the all SEC linebackers. They've had these linebackers that rule the world. The Wrecking Crew, that was kind of, look, the Wrecking Crew had everything. So, I don't want to overdo it, but their linebackers ate souls. I have said since the dawn of Lou time that elite SEC defenses have elite linebackers. And that's the separation of tiers of SEC defenses. It's kind of linebacker play. And when you have elite linebacker play, everything else is easier. Everything else is better. I mean, when you can guard the middle of the field with minimal stress, everything kind of flows from there. And A&M has struggled at linebacker. They've been one linebacker short. They've had no linebacker depth. There's something, and this has gone on for a while. They've had one linebacker of note. I'm not going to say it's been a black hole. I don't want to go too far in an extreme. But I think it's time. I would kill to see them be a strength. I want a first-team All-SEC linebacker. And Damian Sanford is chaos rate, and I love his development we've seen so far. And I hate when I buy the hype. I prefer to watch it come out. I want to see it on the field. But thank you, Tony. I blame Tony Catalina. And Olin Buchanan goes into the blame pile. But all the Ray Coney hype, and I've been aware. He's been on my radar. I understand his ceiling upside. But now their fall camp reports, which I never listened to and don't believe in, but now listening to both of them, when they join me, Tony Catalina Wednesday, Olin will be Tuesdays at 1, I got to stop listening to them. But now the Ray Coney conversation, is he the guy that goes sideline to sideline, coast to coast, and can cover up for a bad fit or a mistake? Is he the guy? I think this is the fourth straight day I've said, is he the guy? Because that changes things. So Elko mentioning the linebacker room. And I think they've struggled, let alone depth, but they had two for a long time. So I'm excited, fascinated. We haven't really done X factors. A&M has enough base questions due to the volume of change. 2 coordinators, 4 O-linemen. We've kind of talked about it, right? We don't need X factors. There's no X factors. There's enough regular factors that we don't need X. Elite linebacking play could be an X, and that's projecting down the line. Last night, Aggie Football Hour, first of the year. Elko does this, where he helps define things talked about, speculated, guescalated about for some time now. He said there are close to 2,000 reps between last season and September 5th. So he quantified spring football, fall camp, everything practice-wise, because we know there's spring football, we know there's fall camp, but 2,000 reps. I'm a numbers guy. I'm an analytics guy to a degree. I'm not going to act like I have a NASA computer here and I'm sitting here, but I love the Dave Bartu worlds and even a Brett Ciancia pick 6. Meta works better than micro. Micro's how you get lost in the sauce. So you have an Elko, 2,000 reps. I love that. I love the knowing, and it gives you that perspective of like, that's how many for each player. And then Elko, it goes further, explains to each kid, because the 2,000 reps, he didn't say per kid, that's practice time. To each kid, they're probably getting somewhere around 1,000 to 1,100 plays. So that's the perspective when you want to think about how much, practice a player gets. Now, there's gym time, weight time, there's drill time, but to each kid, they're probably getting somewhere around 1,000 to 1,100 plays. 2,000 reps between last season and September 5th. And for each kid, 1,000 to 1,100 plays. And again, now what does the analytic people do with that? Now here's the third thing, because I said there's three things for me. And it's insight into the philosophies. And it's something that when he said, there was no shock for me. There was no, this is who Elko is. And without him saying it, this would be almost an expectation from me, or this is duh. I'll explain. Mike Elko said this last night, Aggie Football Hour. I always wanted to be a guy that felt as though he was doing right by all of the people in the building, not just what is in my best interest or what was the best for me and Texas A&M. Doing right by all of the people in the building. There's been nothing he has said or actions. Whenever he speaks to the media, kind of like the weekly media and so forth, the first thing he does is congratulations to. I want to mention. And then it's someone else, something else. Because the building, it's not just Bright. It's not just football with him. It's A&M Athletics. It's A&M University. You see him physically at an Aggie baseball game, an Aggie volleyball game, an Aggie soccer game. Right? So even when he says, doing right by all the people in his building, yeah, Bright, football, but I actually see that extended beyond just football. He is a part of Aggie athletics. He is a part of the university. And yes, if you're a part of the program, and to me, that does mean not just as coaching staff and players. And there's a consistency. I don't think I've heard, seen anything contrary. That seems to be his base nature. And something you can get behind, kind of easy to say, but it's there every day. But he mentioned that in the Aggie Football Hour. Not just what was in my best interest or what was best for me and Texas A&M. And that concept is also a differentiator. And that's where most people fail. Most people cannot separate what is best for them or what they want or even what they believe might not be best. That's an impossibility. What you want, what you believe, sometimes actually isn't best. And most people, that speak in Japanese, but not for Coach Elko. Let's grab a timeout. I just got a text message. If you remember Dusty from the Carney's Pub call-in show brought to you by Texags, which after every A&M home game this year, Dusty and I are back. Mike Elko is early. Tell your friends so they don't miss out. Closer to 11:20 than it was 11:30. So I'll grab a timeout so that we can be here and ready when it's time. This is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, Thursday on The Zone.
Home, road, or bowl, you can hear Aggie football on The Zone. The Zone.
The Louis Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. Coach Elko, any minute now, will be taking the podium. It is his final fall camp media day. They have like one more practice, I think. It's not a full practice either. And then fall camp done because game week starts next week. And as part of the Louis Bellina Show, every Monday at 1:30, it's his weekly game week press conference. And it'll be live. Coach Elko will be live every Monday at 1:30 for his game week media day. And we'll listen live together here on the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. And again, this day has been an in progress. If you follow me on Twitter X, which is LOUIEB1150, we try and update you. Braden Golf, 440 Sports, ESPN Radio, next week. Was in the newsletter, which as of last night, he was supposed to return today. Nope, Mike Elko live. Now, I do have a text message from Tony who says, when does Cedric grace us with his presence? Tomorrow, 11:20. He's not normally Friday, but that's just part of the real time of all this. Cedric is normally Thursday. Today, somewhere in Austin, I didn't ask where. Today, and this is a yearly thing, every year, Kurt Bowles, Cedric Golden, and Olin Buchanan do this luncheon. And it's the three of them meeting with people. So Cedric could not join me today at noon. Cedric will be Thursdays at noon. But Olin, Ced, and Kurt Bowles do this luncheon. It's every Thursday noon before the season starts. It's an annual thing. But Cedric's going to join me tomorrow at 11:20 so we can preview the Longhorns. And Cedric's an OG. He's a journalist. He is fantastic. I cannot wait. So we're still going to visit tomorrow, 11:20, but it'll be every Thursday. See, it's getting too complicated. But your answer is he returns this week, Friday, tomorrow. Oh, this has been one of the weirdest August ever, in between trying to get everyone to join us. Since we're doing all this, hey, when? Starting next week, Wednesdays at noon, Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, A&M legend G. Guerreri will join me inside the Charles Schwab studio every Wednesday at 1. And we're just, here we go. Well, okay, here we almost go. That should be Coach Elko taking to the podium.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Coach, why don't we begin with a just brief opening statement?
Yeah. As we finalized fall camp, just a couple roster updates. Want to get you guys. Unfortunately, Chase Sims and Tiger Ryden will be out for the season this year due to injuries. Both of those guys will be unavailable for the rest of the year, and then no longer on the roster will be Nelson McGuire and Jerome Miles for personal reasons. And so that's where we are as we head into game week. I think really excited about where we are. I think we've had a really, really strong 18 practices now as we just walked off of practice number 18. I think the thing is coming together like we hoped it would, and now it's an opportunity to kind of turn our attention to somebody else, which I think it's that part of camp where I think everybody's itching to just get ready to go play somebody else. And so we had our last camp practice yesterday. We'll kind of transition into game prep starting tomorrow, and it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to get out there and see what we are, see what we have, and see what we're capable of doing this year. And so from there, we'll kind of open it up to questions.
Coach, we'll go to the left, second row. Alex.
Hey, Mike. I feel like the last time we talked with you, you said that the week after the first scrimmage was kind of the most challenging in your opinion. Just what do you think were maybe the biggest strides that y'all made through the back half of camp, and what's pleased you the most about your team going into the actual season?
Yeah, a lot of it is mental toughness, honestly. And you guys have been here. The heat certainly has been on high the last week, and that stretch of having to get up every day with nothing really exciting going on, and I'm just really proud of how we pushed through it. And I think to me that shows a team mentally coming together to kind of start battling together to overcome adversity. There's certainly moments and times where the football isn't going to be pretty, but I think we just continued to push through and continue to do things.
Coach, we'll go to the left, fourth row.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
We're about to speak to Isaiah Horton in just a few moments, but he's obviously brought a lot of experience to the wide receiver room. What have you seen from him on the field during fall camp and beyond what he's already showed you on the field?
Yeah, I think he's been what we were hoping we were getting, in that he's a big, tall, physical receiver. I think he adds a different dimension to the room, maybe a dimension that we were missing last year in terms of just pure size and height, the ability to go and make contested catches. And so excited to see what he's able to do and what he's able to put together as we we move forward into the fall.
Coach, we'll go over to the right, third row, David.
Coach Elko, Ruben Owens has been here for a while, and you've seen his growth. How different is he this year as the veteran in that room, and also the strides he's made on the field?
Yeah, it's good to start that way, right? Been here for a while, because a lot of times I always come back to this. We talk like these kids don't actually stay anywhere, and they do. And he's been here for a while, maybe without it going exactly the way he had mapped it out, going via injury and some of those things. And so I think what you have now is finally that healthy, mature version of him that is physically ready to take on the rigors of an SEC season, has had a really, really strong offseason, has logged a lot of reps, so is really, really comfortable in the run schemes and how we're trying to attack the line of scrimmage and the angles and the lines that we're trying to hit. And so we're excited for him to be able to go out and maybe finally put his absolute best, healthiest foot forward heading into a new season.
Coach, we'll go to the left front row, Tony.
Coach, coming into the offseason, there was a lot of, conversation about Marco Jones and the steps he's taken. What have you seen from him this fall? And just, obviously, what have you seen how his progression's been?
Yeah, I think those steps. I think, the difference between being a really talented high school football player and a really good SEC college football player obviously is massive. And I think last year, what he was a kid who had an unbelievable potential, tremendous traits, but was learning and growing every day about how to actually play fundamental football at the level you need to be as successful as you can be. And I think, to his credit, because this is always the big challenge when you are that big, really athletic kid for so long, like, are you willing to really go to work on all of those fundamentals, those little details that are going to allow you to take your game where you want it to go? And I think he's done that. And so I think you've got a kid now who, not only is big and athletic and fits the profile that you would want, but has really detailed his craft, become a lot better fundamentally. And again, I think he's really, really excited to go out there and show that this year.
We'll stay on the left, second row, Alex.
Sticking with the DNs, I wanted to ask you about Anto Saka and just what's really impressed you the most about him, and just the biggest ways you've seen him grow leading into this season.
Yeah, maturity probably. I think you're bringing in a kid who's played a lot of football, has been around the block a little bit, knows what college football is all about, and obviously is kind of integrated into that room. And again, another physical kid. I think we've got a really, really strong, deep group of defensive ends, and he's obviously a big piece of it.
Coach, we'll go all the way in the back. Landon.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
I spoke with Coach Hemphill on Tuesday. We talked to him a little bit about the linebacker group, and he talked about how Damien's injury kind of helped that group progress a little bit quicker than they might have before. What have you seen from that group, and do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I think so. And obviously you don't ever want anybody to get injured for sure. And I wish Damien didn't, and I wish he was out there playing. But, those reps had to go somewhere. And the urgency to be the guy had to go somewhere. And I think all of those kids, because of that, have taken a big step forward. And so when you look at what Noah McHale has been able to do, what Ray Coney has been able to do, what Jordan Lockhart has been able to do, and then, just young guys, Tamarian Watkins and Tank King, as they've kind of emerged because they've been given more opportunities. And so, I think what we have now is a stronger, deeper group than maybe we had in the spring when we had a lot more guys still trying to figure things out.
Coach, we'll go to the front right. Carter.
Mike, what have you made of this recent craze with the NFL players thinking about coming back to college, and what's prevented you guys from maybe wanting to explore that, and what have you thought of the SEC ruling around that?
It reminded me of a really smart guy who stood on a podium and cried for centralized leadership in college sports because it felt like a lot of people were just acting in their best interests. I can't remember who it was that said that recently, but I feel like somebody came out and said something like that. It's a statement about where we are from a governance standpoint, that we are having conversations about what the rules are going to be regarding roster management on August 27th, and we kick off. There's games tonight, there's games Saturday, and we're not even really sure what the rules are around who can play on our teams this fall. I think that if you want a statement about where we are as a overall governance structure, that's where we are. We entertain everything, so I don't think it's fair to say, why haven't we entertained? I think you entertain everything till you figure out what the landscape is going to look like. I think from our perspective, we are very comfortable and confident with the culture that we've built, and I don't know that it makes a ton of sense for us in August to go out and recruit a whole bunch of kids who haven't been through it all with us, haven't been through the hard days in the summer with Coach Moffitt, haven't been through spring ball, haven't been through team bonding. It doesn't make a ton of sense for us to go infuse 10, 12, 8 new players into our roster. And so that's probably why we never really were at the forefront of that. But I do think, it's unwise in this day and age to not be aware of what is out there. And so we certainly were aware. But I think ultimately made the decision that, we're very confident and comfortable with what we have in this building. And, we're confident rolling with them this fall.
Fourth row. Yep. Fourth row.
Kind of on that point, with the SEC continuing to get deeper and more competitive, what do you think separates the teams that are able to consistently compete at the top of the league?
Yeah, it's those winning plays. We talked a lot about that. The difference between, and we say this to the team a lot, right? If you just go back last year to Notre Dame, right? The difference between the feelings in this building, around this program, and about this program, because we converted a 4th and 11, as opposed to had we not converted a 4th and 11, right? And that's football. And every year that's football. And we got to continue to be the team that steps up and makes those winning plays in those moments. And I think that's what we did last year. That's what we did in that game. That's what we did on defense against Auburn. That's what we did against South Carolina. And unfortunately, that's what we didn't do in the playoff game, right? And that's ultimately where football is going to be. And I think the more parity sets in, which it clearly is, and the more, the top, I think, continues to come down a little bit and the bottom continues to rise a little bit, and you're starting to see a lot more similar like teams with a ninth conference game. It's going to be that. It's going to come down to those winning plays, and so you try to work them. You try to put your kids in those positions as often as you can. You try to do it at times when they're really, really uncomfortable, because that's when they're going to happen in the game, and you just try to build that mental resilience they're going to need to be successful.
Coach, we'll go back over to Alex on the left.
Lyle told us the other day he's going to be in the press box for games this year. Was he in the box last year, or was he on the sideline?
He was in the box. Yeah, he was in the box. Yeah, Jay was on the sideline. He was in the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about that setup with him being in the box as DC up there?
I think he likes it. I think, to me, that's always a decision on them, not me. It's not me mandating him go up there. I think it's, where do you think you can be the most useful, the most helpful? He'll be the walkie-talkie guy this year, and so he'll be talking to the green dot. And so where do you feel like you can best comfortably do that? So I think it's way less about me saying, I feel a certain way about him. I think it's more him, probably secondary background, no different than when I was a coordinator. You just feel and see the game a little bit better when you're a little bit further up and a little further removed.
And just conversely, is Holman planning to be in the box or down on the field? Have y'all decided that?
Yeah, Holman will be in the box as well. And I think very similar conversation. It's a conversation with him about where are you comfortable, where do you feel the most comfortable doing this from? And I think, again, his perspective is he feels the most comfortable being up there, and so that's how we'll do it.
He'll talk with the green dot.
He'll talk with the green dot too. Yeah, that's, you kind of build it. You build it around the coordinator. Is just always kind of how I've seen it. So you talk to the coordinator about where he's most comfortable, and then I think you have opinions with the rest of the staff about where you're going to balance things based on who needs to talk to who and how you're going to put it all together.
We'll go to Carter, front right.
Without Tiger, how are you guys feeling about your running back depth, and do you feel like Ruben can be a guy in those short yardage situations that y'all can lean on?
Yeah, I hope so. I think him and Jamarian have really had strong camps. We're really happy with what Carson Baker and KJ Edwards have done in fall camp, and so we feel really good about the group that we have. And again, until they do it, nothing is anything. But we certainly feel and believe in what we have, and believe in Ruben to go out there and be that guy for us every down.
All right. Anything else for Coach? Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Sorry for starting early. We got done with practice a little bit early today.
There you go. That was Mike Elko, as you know, the Aggie football head coach's final fall camp media day. And he put in there that it's their final fall camp practice, and I guess the remaining, 15 falls are going to be game day prep begins. Last fall camp practice was today. Game day prep will begin, starting with their next practice. We need a timeout. Got to pay some bills when we come back. He dropped a couple of bombs right off the bat with the injury reports, didn't he? We'll talk about that and more. This is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Residential, commercial, and industrial services. It's what they do at CC Electric. This is the Louis Bellina Show, the Thursday edition on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Listen to The Zone at RadioAguilan.com. Thanks to Loyalty Plumbing. The pros at Loyalty Plumbing are ready to serve you, Aguilan. Visit them at LoyaltyPlumbingLLC.net.
It is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. It is the Louis Bellina Show, the Thursday edition. Welcome back. Coming up, what's next? What do we do between now and 2 o'clock? At 12:35, listen in fall camp. We got players. That was Mike Elko, his final meeting with the media. Fall camp next Monday, 1:30. It'll be this weekly media day. Coming up, the fall camp edition of the Louis fall camp players. We got a couple we need to listen to. 1 o'clock, Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author on the D4 Land Services hotline. And then, look, the entire noon hour is an emergency ticket booth thanks to Dixie Tire Company. And what that means, just tune in noon to 1. I'll explain it. I already did once. I'll explain it again then. And I just got things I need to give away that are epic and awesome. And, limited time. Very, very limited time. So listen in to win. Mike Elko, took questions from the media. And he dropped, a couple of bombs. Injury updates. And, Jerome Miles off the roster. Tiger Ryden out for the year. They're depth. Those are depth things. Those are absolutely depth things. But still, it was like, oh, wow, did not see that coming. And after that, pretty straightforward. I don't think there were revelations after that. Do you? And it's funny. He's ready for game week. He's ready to play. And there's nothing shocking in that either. But that was Mike Elko live. Something I wanted to jump into, and this isn't new, but as we're working towards game week and it's time for final predictions, which next week here on the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, we do final predictions. What does that mean? Well, A&M's record. Do they go to the CFP? All these questions that we've tackled for 9 months effectively, final answers. No more can they, will they, should they, what do you think? But I'll just give you yes, no. No more maybes. What do you think? Nope. Final answers. And then we'll find out in 4 months how all that turned out, won't we? And today on The Athletic, Seth Emerson, one of their college football experts, writers, columnists, he predicted every SEC game for the season. Fascinating. That must have took a second if you think about it. And if you predict every final football game for the season, you end up with final records. He had 5 teams go double-digit wins or more. And if you remember, back in the spring and summer, and you have the over-under win totals, this was the first year ever that none of the DraftKings FanDuel people had double digits for an SEC team. And he's got 5. So, who are the 5 teams that got double digits? Well, Georgia went 11-1. Ole Miss, Bama, LSU, and Texas all got 10. If the top end is going to be that heavy, 5 teams. And by the way, if all 5 of those, if those exact names are 10 plus, they're all going to be in the CFP. That'll be a record with 5. That would be 5 at 12. You don't have a Vanderbilt in there that the committee can ignore. Not one of those teams would be committee ignored. LSU, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia. Every one of them will go. The committee cannot What, LSU? No, we hate you, Lane Kiffin. You're bad for the game. LSU don't get left out. Texas, Bama. The closest would be Ole Miss, but their profile's raised enough. Their schedule would fit. So that would be 5. It's an incredible big if true. Now, that's all neat. That's all special, but we live in a maroon and white world. And something to understand, if you have 5 double-digit teams in the SEC, there's no room after that. Because after the 5 teams with 10 plus, we drop straight to 8. There's no room for 9s. Oklahoma goes 8-4. A&M goes 8-4. And their game-by-game prediction, A&M beats OU, wins the tiebreaker, and at 8-4, A&M finishes 6th in the SEC. Yeah, that 6 brings no comfort. 6th in the SEC, some years could be 10, but not now, okay? I don't think so in the future either, by the way. That should be 9, but not top-heavy version. 8-4. I pound the microphone. I pound the Charles Schwab studio. Not 8 wins. Just don't do that. 9 buys you that year. A year for what, Lou? To not go, it's the same old A&M. 9, even bowl 10 would be better. Yeah, where bowls don't matter. Truly. They're for entertainment purposes. 9 buys you a year. And you can go 9 plus 1 and then still claim it's 10. Because technically it's true. But not 8-4. 8, 9, 10. 3 completely different numbers that will carry 3 different values and 3 different impacts. It is a bizarre, that of all these predictions and stuff I've seen, this total is the most unique. It's not out of the realm. Because in the 5, 10 plus teams, I can buy Georgia, buy Ole Miss at 10. I will say they should. Plenty of reasons why they won't, but I can buy them as a 10-win team. Bama at 10? No. That's the one that you can circle that doesn't belong. LSU at 10? I can sell. And Texas at 10? Their schedule in Sark, doubts, question marks, but they have the talent. By the way, not sure how much stuff you read, pay attention to, but yesterday / this morning, I guess the week before the season starts proper, was everybody's dropping mock drafts. Everybody's dropping big boards. Texas has 4 players like in the top 11 of almost every mock draft I've seen. You know the names: Arch, Simmons, Goolsby. Texas has 4 players, 3 on offense in like the top 11, top 15, top half of the NFL draft. When you start there for your building block, you're a pretty good team. You're that top heavy NFL talent. And they got a lot more, but in the big boards, Texas has like 10 players in the top 100. They're insanely talented. Their schedule's insanely brutal. And Sark is part of, when your head coach, really the offensive coordinator, is such a big part of your question, that's a red flag. That's danger, Will Robinson. And here's the difference. Holman Wiggins is a red flag, maybe. That's just because we haven't seen it. But Sark is a red flag because we've seen it. Do you understand the difference in the 2 red flags? One is because we've seen it. One is just, well, let's see what he got. 2 completely different red flags at the same position. So, anyway, predicted every SEC game. You can lose sleep over that. And if it's 5 at 10, 5 go in the CFP. That's my first takeaway. And with A&M at 8, that's the number I just can't deal with. Just no. Any other number, just no on the 8 and 4. Now, when we come back, hour 1 done. And what a first hour. Mike Elko live from his media day. Some of your text messages and more. This is the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Thursday on the Zone. I hope you're prepping for September 2nd because it's just around the corner. And on September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day, they arrive. Massive deals, exclusive deals, an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The DraftKings Sports app, it's live. It's now live in all 50 states. That means Texas to California to Florida, every fan is in on the excitement. One app, every sport, all 50 states, DraftKings Game Day is live. If you're a new customer to DraftKings, you can sign up with the code KZNEAM, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards with code KZNEAM. Use the code KZNEAM. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim issued in non-withdrawable prediction dollars that expire in 1 year. Terms, dking.co/predictions. Promo nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability varies by state.
Listen to the Houston Astros on the Zone. Thanks to Kelly Berdozer.
The Louis Bellina Show. Hour 1, almost not quite done. The entire noon hour emergency ticket booth, thanks to Dixie Tire Company. And what that even means, I'll explain when we hit the noon hour. Also, 12:35, listen in, fall camp players. We do fall camp in their words. And Mike Elko, who was live like 11:23, his final fall camp, because fall camp practice ended today. He said that, like the remaining practices this week are game day prep. And then Monday. It is here, game week. Something I think I've been asked 4 or 5 times this morning around the office. We have tons of sports fans here at Bryan Broadcasting, and that's not a joke. We have a small army. So we talk sports up and down the hall here at the Bryan Broadcasting building. Do you know there's football games tonight? So I'll ask you, I'll share that. Do you know there's football games tonight? We know Saturday, like week 0, right? And yes, the North Carolina TCU Dublin game. Then we have the NC State Virginia in the midday. Then at night, it's one of the best G6 games of the year, UNLV against Memphis. So it's actually a really good week 0 slate. But tonight's games, and they're like all FCS, and there's like 50. And Dusty and I had a conversation. And Dusty kept it simple. He can't do it. He's like, just say no. I mean, it's FCS football. I have a simple philosophy with almost any sport. I tune it in till I can't tune in no more. And what that even means is I'll watch almost anything until my eyes bleed. I mean, or the second I notice I'm looking at my phone and not the screen. And I have watched some of the most epic sports or epic football games involving teams I still don't know who they are. But if you entertain me, I'm all in. And if you bore me, it can be Notre Dame, Miami. But if you bore me, you bore me. If you entertain me, I'm in. So I'm going to throw open this question. Are you going to watch tonight? Very simple. Are you going to watch tonight? Yes or no? Are you that tempted? Or are you going to wait for Saturday? Can you hold off to Saturday? Or are you going to watch? Are you going to go Dusty and just say no? Are you going to go Louie and give it 5 minutes? It can be the Southwestern Virginia Rockport Hamsters against the Northeastern Montana Vermin. I'll give it 5 minutes. I got because if I don't have 5 minutes, I wouldn't be sitting down on the couch anyway. So are you going Dusty? Just say no. Or are you going Louie? I got 5 minutes. You could text me at 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Now we got to take a time out eventually. Before we step aside, call this a programming service reminder. Spend your Aggie football Saturdays right here on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Every Aggie football home game on the Zone starts 4 hours before. We have the Carney's Pub game day show brought to you by TexAgs.com. Starts 4 hours before. When the Aggies are at home, it's live from Kearney's Pub. Olin Buchanan of Texags, Robert Cessna of the Eagle. Hi, me too, I'll be there. Louis Bellina. When the Aggies are on the road, Dusty, he hosts. Bryce Jones, barbecue pitmaster, and I just hang out and drive the two of them crazy. 2 hours before kickoff, the A&M Tailgate Show. 90 minutes before kickoff, the official A&M pregame show. Then, listen to every Aggie football game, home or road, right here on the Zone. Then, 30 minutes after every A&M football home game, Dusty and I, it's the Kearney's Pub Call-In Show brought to you by Texags. 30 minutes after every A&M football game, 2 hours of your phone calls. It is the strangest, funnest, wildest, and wooliest 2 hours of the week on the Zone. It's raw, it's real, it's drunk, it's a good time. That is Aggie Football Saturdays on the Zone. And remember, if you want to keep it simple, you don't want to remember everything, it starts 4 hours before kickoff, and it goes well after the game is over. You can spend your Aggie Football Saturdays on the Zone. I'll be back. This is the Louis Bellina Show, Thursday.